So to move on to the next topic, I'd like to call upon Agita online. And Agita will be talking about digital literacy, specifically these strategies for critical thinking and ethical engagement. Agita, over to you.
Thank you, Luke. Hi, everyone. I'm Agita Pasaribu. I'm a founder and executive director of Bullied App. We are a pioneering tech charity in Indonesia. We're focusing on victim support, preventions, and advocacy against online gender-based violence and cyber harassment. And we are pretty young. Over the past 4 years, we've supported more than 220,000 people across Indonesia. And the fact that 37 of those are children and young people under the age of 17 years old. And that brings us our discussion today, that our children, the digital natives, are not just the casual internet of users. They are at the front of the digital revolutions, and often at the forefront of digital race. In Indonesia alone, we see nearly 9 out of 10 children aged 10, 15 years old use the internet, and the number has doubled since 2018. We also see this similar trends across Asia. But with more internet use comes more risk. So over 49 of young internet users in our region face online bullying and harassment. And according to National Commissions for Children Protections in Indonesia, reported just recently, there are over 190,000 reports on child online exploitation cases for the past 3 years. And these aren't just numbers, right? These are our children. They are facing real harm and a real need for actions. So I think the question is, how do we equip our children to navigate this digital world safely and responsibly? So I think we must prioritize, I think we've heard it a lot, age-appropriate digital literacy educations. The government needs to integrate digital citizenship into national curriculum, starting at an early age. And this approach doesn't just teach technical skills, it emphasizes the critical thinking about online content and interactions. And we also need to add and focusing on empowering children to protect their own rights online. Just as we teach our children about their rights in the physical world, we must also educate them about their rights in digital spaces. It includes the privacy, the right of access information, and the right to be protected as well from exploitations. But I think we also see the point when we often overlook, to truly educate our children on digital literacy, we must first empower and educate parents and teachers. Because in the end of the day, digital literacy isn't just about school subject, isn't it? It is a life skill that needs reinforcement at home and in the classroom. So we have our program called our Cyber Safety for Kids. And we found that 90% of parents felt not equipped to guide their children to do online activities. And meanwhile, only 10% of teachers reported feeling quite confident in teaching digital literacy skills. So what we see is that when we educate parents and teachers, we create a support network for our children. And these adults become the first line of defense. They're able to spot warning signs and guide children through tricky online situations. And most importantly, as I'm coming from Indonesia, another thing that's highly important is the need to integrate comprehensive sexual education into school curriculum. As many countries, including Indonesia, we still do not teach sexual education in the classroom. So some of you might be asking, what does sex education have to do with online safety? So we see that online child exploitation cases involved a lack of understanding about personal boundaries and consent. And comprehensive sexual education teaches children about their bodies, their boundaries, and what constitutes appropriate relationship both online and offline. Children who are received age-appropriate sexual education were more likely to recognize and to report online grooming attempts. So this education isn't just about exposing children to adult concepts early. It's about to give them the knowledge, the vocabulary to protect themselves in all spaces, including digitals as well. And also, I wanted to point, perhaps at the last one, and I think also more crucially, we must demand a greater responsibility from digital platforms, especially in the realm of online gaming platform. I think we've heard a lot of contributions from social media platform, joining contributions on conferences and seminars, but we haven't heard a lot from online gaming. Online gaming is where many of our children spend significant of time. It's also where they are most vulnerable. Child online exploitation cases across Southeast Asia were very linked to gaming platform. And the gaming experience often encouraged children to unknowingly exchange personal information for free access to benefit. So children play mobile application games, face different data risks from peers or another children who plays personal computer or console games. The PC or console normally led by gaming industry who dominated by large and long-standing companies, but the mobile gaming sector has many of the new and small companies that lack of internet privacy resources and perhaps they not really follow the data protection principle. So we can't really ignore this reality. We need to call on gaming companies to step up, to invest in robust age verification system, to implement stricter content moderation, to also provide a clear, accessible reporting mechanism, and to provide support for support system for young users. And I think the challenge that we have is that brings me to the crucial points that digital literacy isn't just about protections, because how are we gonna able to grow and make sure that our children can be able to grow and learn, but also it's about empowerment. So it is important to be able to teach our children not just to avoid the dangers but recognize opportunity, not just to consume content but to create it responsibility. And lastly, not to follow rules, not just to follow rules, but to think critically about the digital world when they're helping to shape. One of the 14 years old participants in one of our workshop mentioned that I used to think being safe online meant hiding. Now I know that it means also standing up for myself and others. So I think this is the essence what we are striving for, especially in the lens of a charity and an NGO, and generations of digital citizens who are not just safe but savvy, not just protected but also empowered. So I wanted to close it as a saying that I believe on digital world of our children inhabit today is the world that they will lead tomorrow. So our task as a stakeholders is not just to shield them from this world, but also to equip them to transform it. I think I'll stop there. Thank you.